Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. My name is Monica Rose. This is my YouTube channel, The Running Portal, and I have with me today Misty Mills. We're going to dive a little less running, a little bit more Snowdrop Ultra 55. And if you've never have heard of this race or this I'm going to say race. And we're going to circle back to why I kind of hesitate for that to be a race. But it's held here in Texas, specifically at Buffalo Run Park in Missouri City. Um, and I know if you're here in Texas, you probably have heard of it. Outside of Texas, maybe not so much, but this is definitely for a focus on childhood cancer and fundraising for it, how runners get involved in it. And so that's why I kind of hesitate to say that it's a race, because we want the focus and the emphasis to remain on what the Snowdrop Foundation is benefiting. And so I'm going to let Misty Mills, who is our guest today, introduce herself. And Misty, if you could just give us a little bit of your background, your trail running experience, and then how you got involved with the Snowdrop the first time.
Okay, yeah. I'm so happy to see you, Monica. Thank you for having me.
Most welcome.
Um, I just recently took over a volunteer position for the Snowdrop Foundation as their director of the honor team. And as you had mentioned, the Snowdrop Foundation hosts this race every year. We raise money as a fundraising because the Snowdrop Foundation is a nonprofit organization, and it's got two purposes. Part of the money that we raise helps fund research into cures for pediatric cancers, and part of the money that we raise will send pediatric cancer survivors to college. So we
So
provide
cool.
scholarships to survivors, and we raise money because at the end, we would really just like to cure pediatric cancer so that kids don't have to fight this anymore. So that's what we do. And we host a race every year starting on December 30th, and we run for 55 hours straight. Yes, it really does go for 55 hours. And that's kind of the big hallmark race. And they do other events all year long, but that's the one that I've been most involved in.
It,
Um,
some of the but I was looking at some of the statistics. So we have a mutual person between us, Meg Eckert. So she set
yes.
the course record out there in 23. And then in 24, the male runner finished at 200.92 miles, and the female finished at 181.58 miles. And that is some serious time on your feet. If you've ever been to a kid event like softball, well, just imagine like moving and then just not stopping.
Yes.
There was 149 registered participants, and then the totality of what was raised last year was $2,476. Was what I was finding. So I know like you and I talked about, before we got on here, was I have a lot of y'all that do this, and I know when the fundraising is getting serious, serious, because I'll start seeing it pop up on my page. And so you want to make sure that you help everybody because it is benefiting the kids. And I think it's really cool that it's not benefiting just the research, but it's benefiting the after of cancer, which I think sometimes can be hard for people to figure out, how do I go beyond this? So
Right. It can be not just physically devastating, it can be financially devastating to families because the cost of cancer care can be astronomical.
yes. Oh yes. Yeah. And I will say I know from like some other organizations that I've been part of through like my church and stuff, is that a lot of times if I'm going to just mention this briefly, if you need help with like hotel stay, parking stay, there
Mhm.
are nonprofit groups that are out there. You just ask and people can get you connected to those, because like you said, it's just costly, and but it's your kids, so you're going to do whatever needs to be done.
Yes.
So um so tell us about the first time that you got involved in this, because this story, guys, it's how she got started and the fact that she stayed and we want other runners to get to the same place and be part of the honor team, which is where she helps. So, Misty, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So I did not start running until I was an adult. I ran my first marathon at 29. And I'd shared this with someone else the other day. I had a girlfriend that I went to college with who messaged me early in 2029, and she said, "Hey, I've got a group of friends. We're going to put our name in for the lottery for the Nike Women's Marathon in San Francisco. Do you want to be on our team? And if we get picked, we'll run the race." And I knew nothing about running. And I just figured the odds that we won the lottery would be really low. So I was like, sure, put my name
Right?
on your silly list for the lottery. Yes, if we win the lottery, I will run the marathon with you. I did not know at the time that what that meant
Right?
was that there might be 50,000 people who wanted to run the race and they only had 40,000 spots. So our names got picked. So then my friend was a leukemia survivor, and she had picked that particular Nike women's marathon because it was a fundraiser for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't back out.
Right?
I have to run this marathon now. So I trained and I ran, and that, I tell people like it's all her fault that I am where I am now. So I ran several marathons, several half marathons. I moved to Houston and I had some running friends who kept telling me, you should run Snowdrop with us. And I didn't know what Snowdrop was. And then when they told me what it was, I was convinced that was a terrible idea. They're like, we run for 55 hours. And I just remember thinking, no, I love myself. I'm not going to do that. That's awful. But as I read about it and they told me that it raised money to fight pediatric cancer, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's different. It's different.
Yes.
It's for a really good reason. So I registered for the race and immediately had regret. Like, what have I done? I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I finished a marathon and I'm spent. Like, how am I going to do this? And in my confirmation email, there was a little paragraph that year that said, if you would like to be paired with a pediatric cancer patient, we have a program for that called the Honor Team. Send an email to Bob Milligan. Bob Milligan started the Honor Team in honor of a little boy named Brooks who lost his battle with cancer. So Brooks is the reason that we have the Honor Team. And so I thought, well, that would help. That would help keep me motivated and
Right.
focused if it wasn't just a cause, like just a ephemeral, like, oh yes, we run for pediatric cancer patient. I thought it would help me to know a patient, make it
Exactly.
personal. So I emailed Bob, and Bob paired me with a young woman named Megan. Megan was 2 weeks shy of her high school graduation when she was diagnosed with leukemia. And so she was the patient that Bob paired me with through the honor team. And the rest is history as far as I'm concerned. Like, people ask about your life, like, what is the defining moment? And I think there's more than one. I think we can have more than one defining moment. But for my life, there is definitely like before Megan and after Megan. So I texted back and forth with her parents a little bit, kind of telling them about myself and about what I was doing. And we set up a time to meet. And I went to Texas Children's Hospital. That's where Megan was being treated. And it was just like we were meant to be friends. We were meant to be friends. And I have learned more from her about strength and determination and perseverance, asking for help, being a good friend. Like my life has just, not just my running, I think my running has improved, but my life is just so much better with a Megan in it. And I just feel like everyone deserves to have that. But you can't have mine. You can't have my Megan. You have to get your own Megan. I like mine. I'm keeping her. But that's what we want to keep doing. We want to keep pairing people who care with kids who are fighting cancer so that they know that they're not alone. It can be such an isolating experience for the children and for their families because not everybody knows what to say or what to do or how to show up. So the honor team runners make a commitment that we'll be there. We'll show up, we'll care. And so no, I love this. I love this kid like I love air. She's 26 years old now, so she survived her cancer. She's 26 years old now. She comes to the race. So people who come to Snowdrop, you will see Megan there, and everybody knows her. She's like the biggest celebrity.
I think that's if you're going to be a celebrity, that's the best celebrity to be. So,
She's wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
And I think and I love what you mentioned where because this ties back into why I was a little bit hesitant to call it a race is that there are lives that are being impacted in a wonderful way with this race and it's so neat because you see all the photos and see all the videos and to me it's almost like a family reunion because I know that there are runners that are mutual between us, they go back again and again, and they're always there showing up for fundraising, and it's all over their page. They shout it as loud as they can, come out and join us. And so until you had reached out to me, I had not heard specifically about the honor team, but I love how you phrased it where we get in these ultras outside of this and the ones that are the multi-day race or you can choose your hours it can
Mhm.
be daunting to keep going your brain is like oh my gosh we're 30 hours in and we still have to go but I think when you have a human connection somebody that you're running for you're walking for and that you're showing up for I think it inclines you to be one more genuine of why you're there and then two it motivates you because like you said with your very first marathon there's just some things you just can't quit in you can't quit in a race that benefits for cancer you can't quit when there's a child that is relying on you and like you said unless you're like just a rock you can't I don't see how you can't not form a connection with the child that you're running for. And so
Yes.
to me, I would not want to call and, well, I'm sorry, but I got tired and I didn't finish. So
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. So talk to us a little bit more specifically about the honor team. And I guess let me back this up a little bit. So right now it's we have a wait list, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, that's what I
But
thought.
there's never a wait list for volunteers, and there's
Exactly.
never a wait list for donations.
Yes. So, and just in case you'll miss that, there's never wait. They are always in want of volunteers. And like, guys, this is like the best way to ring in the new year. It's so much fun. So much
It's a
fun.
party. It's a 55-hour long party with
Wait,
the world's best humans.
when she says party, like I've seen night lights, I have seen the music going. People have their canopy. I call them worlds set up,
Yes.
and like you can't. You, I don't know how y'all sleep out there because I would be. I just yeah, my brain would be going.
Sleeping? We're supposed to sleep? What? This
I
is
think
the
it's
first
more
I'm
like
hearing
nap,
of this, Monica. We're supposed to sleep? No one told me this.
maybe. So let's talk to us about the honor team. How can we get our current registered runners? How can we get them to recognize, hey, there's this wonderful, fantastic little paragraph there. If you overlooked it, talk to us about it. How do we get
Yeah,
them engaged
so
with the honor team?
so anybody's welcome to reach out to me. I have an email. It's misty@snowdropfoundation.org. You can find me, we have a Snowdrop Honor Team Facebook page. So you can go search for that. Or find me, Misty Mills. You can find me on Facebook and message me. And what we'll do is we'll get some information from the runners about where they live, what are they interested in, and we have a contact at Texas Children's Hospital. So we reach out to her as an intermediary, and she will look at the patients that they're currently treating and see if she can identify a child who could really use some extra support, some
Oh, I
extra
like that.
friendship. So I'm kind of the go-between between the runners and Texas Children's Hospital. And
Okay.
then what we'll do is we will do what Bob Milligan did for me is I will give the runner a phone number or an email, depending on what the family prefers, to reach out to the parents of these kids and explain who they are. And after that, what we really like is we let the families lead how much involvement they want from their honor team runners.
Okay. That's good to know that. So they could be as involved as you are, or they could be involved as little. It really is just dependent on the family and what they're comfortable with.
Right. So
Okay.
some families just want text message check-ins and photos and, hey, I'm thinking about you. I ran a race today. I haven't forgotten about you. I care about you. Do you need anything? Or send cards, or phone calls all the way. I feel like Megan and I are at the far end of the extreme now because I met her in 2017 and we celebrate all of our birthdays, all of our holidays. We've gone on vacations together. We celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas. And like
That's
next weekend
awesome.
for 4th of July, we're going to decorate sugar cookies together. We've taken care of each other's dogs when we travel and do things. So we really have a real, genuine friendship. But not every family is looking for that. Some
Right.
families just want a special friend, a special support system. And maybe you go visit every so often, or maybe not. Maybe it's just the text messages and the cards and the phone calls, once a week, once a month. We really do try to let the families guide how much involvement the runners have because you can be easily overwhelmed when you have a kid fighting cancer. So
Right.
we let them kind of set the tone for how much we do together. But Megan actually does Snowdrop now. She goes on a relay team. And so she went from being the kid that we were running for to now she does the race now. And there are some other survivors who do the same thing. So that's really also amazing to see, um, shifting from being the beneficiary of the race to a participant in the race has been like the great pleasure of my life to see Megan do that.
That is a real, to me, like a full circle moment, I think, when you're running for a child and then you get to see the child out there now returning the favor, being able to be part of it instead of on the sidelines. And that is just
Yeah.
a real full circle moment. So I thank you for like breaking that down so that our registered runners and future runners looking at wanting to do this race understand what your role is and that there's it's dependent on the family on how involved, but we definitely need runners to
Yeah.
step up. How many is there, I guess, is there ever not enough runners for kids, or is there a limited number?
There's not a limit. So if I have 10 people call me today, I
Yes.
can find them 10 kids. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. Y'all heard
so
that.
don't worry about that.
We
So
got
there
them.
may be a little time because we are trying to match kids with runners who maybe they share an interest with.
And I
So
think that's good because that helps because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when we spoke previously, the idea is to try to depend, like you said, depending on the family, is to have a continuing relationship after Snowdrop if the family so wants it and if the patient so wants it, so that we're continuing to foster that relationship so that they don't feel like they're by themselves and battling this alone, with the caveat of it depends on the family and their needs. So
yes, exactly. So no, we're pretty open book. So just the more the merrier is what we think until we raise enough money and do enough research that kids don't have cancer anymore, then we'll stop. We'll stop when kids don't have cancer anymore.
I like that. I think That's the best way to go. When you've been out there, do you see more solo runners or do you see more relay, or is it kind of a combination of both that are out there running for the kids?
It's a combination. So you can run as a solo runner, and it's run as many miles as you can in 55 hours.
Right.
Or you can have a relay team of up to 10 people,
Okay.
and then you just take turns. Those 10 people will work it out for each team. They, have a different sort of schedule system, but that's what Megan and I have done before. We've done where we've been on the same relay team together, and we take turns out on the course, and you can't lose motivation out there. The
No, I've
course is lined. You've seen it, right? The course is
yes,
lined with photos
I
of
cry. I
children that
cry.
we're running for.
I tell my every time I start looking at the photos, I'm like, I'm not going to, and then I'm like, somebody hand me the box of tissues, please, because I can't. I'm just like it's like if I could have it for like all of them, I would do it in a heartbeat. And here we go again. So
Yes.
it
Yes, I'm really proud that I've made it this far talking about Megan without crying, by the way. I normally get so emotional talking about her because it is we have a good time at the race, and we laugh and we smile and we take pictures and we share food together. But it's serious.
yeah.
That some of the pictures that line the course are from children who did not survive their cancer. And so that is front and center in our hearts and in our minds, that there are families who did have to say goodbye to their children, which is wrong. And then there are some wonderful success stories too of children who survived, and we want to tip the scale more in that direction than before. But we also want to know that the children who passed away from their cancer, that they're not forgotten. So
Exactly.
there are honor team runners whose children that they ran for did pass away, and we talk about them on the course and what their personalities were like and what they enjoyed doing and what their hobbies were. So we want those families also to know we remember your child, and we talk about them, and we think the world is a better place because they existed in it, and we're not going to let their memory fade away.
I think that's important to have that. And so let me step from that into the volunteer part of it, because if you are on the if you didn't make it to be able to run and be at the event, as Misty just said, we have volunteer opportunities. So what are the ways that people can choose to volunteer, and where can they go to volunteer? Because 55 hours, um, there's a lot of work I'm sure that needs to be done, and it's an all hands on deck, I would imagine. And if you're a night owl, I know that y'all need some night owl people
We
to
have a
help keep.
spot for you. If you are an insomniac, I have a spot for you. Uh, no, and there is, and I think there is sometimes when you hear there's an ultra marathon that's people run for 55 hours. I do think it can scare off some people. They're like, that's not me. I'm not an athlete like that. I'm gonna go way over here. But because you said this is more than a race, it's like a family reunion. So we have volunteers who help set up tents, who help get the runners registered the day before the race starts and do their packet pickups to get their bibs, to get their timing chips. There is a medical tent. So if you are in the medical field, if you are a nurse, if you are a massage therapist, if you are a physical therapist, if you're a physician, there you can volunteer in the medical tent. And the medical volunteers are top notch there. They will keep you. They've saved my race on more than one occasion. They have volunteers who will serve food, who will pick up trash, who will take care of lighting and generators, security. There's something for everything. And families come and volunteer together as families, and I love to see that, right? Like, oh, it just like warms my heart when you see like a whole family out together volunteering. um
I think
so
that
no, there's
families,
something for everyone.
I love to hear that families are there, because unless a child is exposed to volunteering, and it doesn't have to be a race, volunteering wherever, they don't grow up to do it, and then and or their chance, let me correct that, their chance of volunteering might be a little bit less. But when they're exposed to it at an early age, I think it opens another door inside of them to put other opportunities in front of them to realize that there's a little bit more beyond, cell phone and social media out there. And so but yeah, the I know volunteering, I go for the night because I get up
Yes.
at 2:30 in the morning, so I'm like, why not? I'm already up. So, um, but yeah, there's these events, they definitely need people to come out. They definitely need people to help. And there is fun. I know runners, like you can see in my there's so like talk to us a little bit about the bling, because I know there is some bling, and y'all
Okay.
have some of the prettiest buckles
I'm
I
gonna grab
have
a
ever
buckle. I'm gonna
seen.
show you.
Oh,
So
you guys look at this. This is
this
the prettiest
is the
buckle I've ever
style
seen.
of buckle that we get.
It is
They
so
are
pretty.
they're made by they're made by the same buckle maker, Silversmith, who makes the buckles that are given to the winners at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So these are
That,
not like souvenir
yes,
buckles. These are real gorgeous, beautiful. So these are for the 100-mile finishers.
yes.
Um, but let me be clear, you don't have to run 100 miles.
Yeah,
You
no,
don't
you
have
can.
to run 100 miles, but if you do happen to have that as a goal, and if you do make it to 100 miles, the nicest finisher buckles I've ever seen. And the goodie bags for this race
Yes,
are phenomenal. They're phenomenal. I think from every year that I've gone, I think I have a whole set of luggage now, duffel bags, travel bags. No, so yeah, I don't have to buy luggage now because the bags that we get are really nice and they're filled with really amazing things. It's not like a coupon and some safety pins. There's
right.
like a big giant bag of really nice stuff.
I'm trying to think. The only race where I've gotten the duffel bag was, oh my gosh, I've been running for 13 plus years. So I want to say it was Kingwood Marathon in
Okay.
19 or 20. They gave a yellow duffel bag, a nice like canvas, super like big size duffel bag.
Yes.
And I was
But
like, oh,
I've run Boston. The swag at Boston is not as nice as the swag at Snowdrop. And I loved Boston. That's not a dig at Boston, but the swag for Snowdrop is top notch. The food is top notch. They serve you 3 meals a day.
yeah.
Hot food, not like, like here, have some potato chips. Like, no, they have a tent. It's like a cafeteria. You get 3 meals a day. And that's why I can run this race because I'm not a particularly gifted runner. I'm not particularly fast. I'm stubborn a little bit and I like to eat. So the snowdrop race is perfect for people like me because yes, I'm going to swing by and make get some scrambled eggs, get myself a sandwich, do something along the way. So the other misconception I hear people talk about, Monica, is they say, I could never run for 55 hours. I'm not a good runner. I'm
It's a
not a good
com
runner either, and I do it.
it's the combination. I'm gonna put my coach's hat on real quick. It's a combination of running and walking, and what's beautiful about these that are hour in, you can sit if you need to for a little bit
Yes.
and grab some of that food, go sit at your world for a little bit, and then take a little bit of a break and then go right back out there. Because I've seen people that do this and they just walk. So don't. Even though it's full this year, next year I want people to be putting this on this radar. It's on mine. I will be there
Yes.
next year. And don't be intimidated thinking that you have to run for a full 55 hours. You can
No, you don't.
you
You
can
can stop,
run.
you can stretch, you can take a nap, you can eat, you can go to the
Even
grocery
the
store, come back, it'll be okay. Yeah.
even the greats like DeWalter, she walks in her races. So I mean, walking is perfectly fine. But Um, it's, definitely if you're already registered, like Misty said, go check out the honor team, get with her, help let her pair you up with a child there so that you've got some motivation. And then volunteers, they're going to need the volunteers because 55 hours, that's a long time. And there's a place for you. And so, before before we wrap this up, so there's a couple of last minute questions here. Is there a fundraising goal that Snowdrop is looking to hit this year that we
Oh, I'm
can?
sure there is. I'm sure there is. I don't know what it is. As much as possible. We want to raise as much as possible.
There we go.
Um,
There we
yeah,
go.
so yeah, no, so let me change my mind. No, no limit, just as much as possible.
And if they don't know somebody that's participating, can they go to the website or to the Facebook page and make a donation?
Absolutely. You can just make a
Okay.
general donation that's not attached to any particular runner,
Okay.
or you can look through the list of runners and maybe you see a name that you recognize and you can donate to their specific fundraiser. You can also make a note if you know a child who is battling cancer or if you know a child who has passed away from their cancer, you can make a donation either in their honor or in their memory.
Okay.
And it will show up on our fundraising page that yes, I'm making my donation in honor or in memory of this particular person.
Okay, that was my other question. So that's good to know. So Facebook page, web page, guys, even if you don't know someone or if you know of a child that's passed or battling, you can make a contribution onto to their page. Um, and then is there a deadline that people can donate money? Because I know, like, from seeing people fundraise, there's the during, but then there's the before. So is there a deadline that people need to, if they're going to donate, that they need to have donated their funds by?
Yes, so our fundraising season goes from the day that registration opens, which is always on April 1st at noon every
Okay.
year. I always have to tell people it's not a joke. That really is when registration is. It's at noon on April 1st, and it will go through the end of February the following year.
Okay.
So we're raising money now for this year's race. The race will finish at 2 p.m. on New Year's Day, 2026. And our fundraising for that race will continue through the end of February.
Okay.
And then we take the month of March off. We register for next year's race on next April 1st, and then we start and we do it all again.
Okay. And then let me just say, so registration goes quick though. I feel like this year it went pretty quick. It's like it opened up and I want to say what, within like a few days, about a week,
I think so. Yeah.
it was full. That was it. So if you're going to do this, or if you're listening to this and you've never participated before and you feel compelled and motivated to go run for these kids, April 1st at 12 o'clock, put it on your calendar, put a reminder in your phone to register for this event. Go find some other
Yes.
people, make them come with you, do it as a relay if you don't want to do it as a solo.
Yes.
So that way we can make it a look, here's the challenge, guys. I think this thing sold out in about a week. Don't hold me to that. Let's see if we can't sell this out within like 2 to 3 days.
Yes.
Look, if Cocodona can sell out within 2 to 3 days, then we can sell out Snowdrop, I think, within
Oh,
3 days.
for sure. For
That's a
sure.
challenge. That's my challenge.
Well, and I think too, because I was not an experienced ultra runner when I registered for this race in 2017, I also think this is a really great first ultra for
Yes,
someone who wants to dip their toe in the water, but does not want to get stranded in the Arizona desert.
exactly, because the loops are like 0.69 miles, right?
Correct. It's a 0.69 mile loop. It's at a park. So
Yep.
you're never far from the medical tent or help if you needed it.
You're not in
And
the
we set
woods.
up our tents along the course path. So
Yes.
you can stop and rest at your own tent also if you need help. But this is a great first ultra for someone who had maybe has been a runner and is thinking about it, but feels a little overwhelmed. And it's like a choose your own adventure.
It
you know,
really,
because you're on a loop. And if your goal is, I want to run a 50K, then you run your 50K, you meet your goal, you're fantastic. You want to run 100K or 50 miles, or you just want to run a personal best. I had a girlfriend last year who she set her goal, she wanted to run 55 miles
uh-huh.
because the number 55 is significant for this race. Do you know why? Do you know why we run for 55 hours?
That's the piece I was looking for. So tell us.
Okay, so the Snowdrop Foundation was established in honor of a young woman named Chelsea Campbell. And Chelsea was a pediatric cancer patient. And she underwent a groundbreaking experimental surgery for her particular type of cancer when she was sick. And it took two surgeons working nonstop for 27 hours to complete Chelsea's surgery. So we run, and this is where I cry, we run 27 hours for surgeon number one, and we run 27 hours for surgeon number two, and we run an hour for Chelsea Campbell. So that is the number 55 is linked to the young woman who is the reason that we have the Snowdrop Foundation. And if you come to the race, I'm telling you, you've got to come to the race as a volunteer, as a spectator, as a support crew, as a runner. You got to come. We have a bib with Chelsea's name on it. And we take turns carrying her name around this course for the whole 55 hours because we love her so much. If Chelsea had survived, she would have just turned 35, I think, this month. So we honor her by running in honor of this epic surgery that they did to try to save her life.
And y'all
So
didn't have a reason yet. There we go.
there
There,
you go.
there we go. It's that's
So when you pick up Chelsea's bib, you take that lap really seriously.
oh yeah.
And in a weird way, it's also we miss her and we're sad that she's gone. But the laps that I take with Chelsea's bib, I really try to be joyful. I really want to enjoy those laps and carry the joy that Chelsea had in her heart out into the rest of the world on her behalf because she's not here to do it. So we love her. We
I
love
think
her. We love Megan. We love you. No, but it's more than a race. And I don't
it is.
repeat races very often. I don't run the same race twice almost ever. I think maybe I've run two or three races. Like once I've done it, like, yeah, I know what that race is like. This race, I will do this race until I don't have legs. I will run this race every year for as long as they will let me. And that's the thing, because I get bored easily. Like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Not this race. Every year is different. Every year is special. So this is the one that once you do it, you're going to be hooked. And it's going to be like me, like my friends who bullied me into doing this race. And now look at me. Just look at me.
Do an edit. Bully's a bit of a strong word. Maybe
Okay, so we
strong
don't
version.
they're encouragers. They're wonderful, wonderful encouragers. We'll say that instead of bullies.
Yeah.
I love my bully friends though. Like I have Megan because of my bully friends. So I love them. It's okay, bully away.
See, every single trail runner, ultra runner has that one person that got them into this. And we use the phrase got me into this because once you're in it, you're in it. I don't
It
know
sounds nicer than bullied.
because I don't because like Meg Eckert's the whole reason why I got into them. She and I for a hot minute were on a same ambassador team. And I reached out to her because I saw her doing this trail running stuff, and I was like, "Hey, I'm bored of marathons. What's this trail stuff?" So she told, girl, she got me signed up for habanero. That's the one that she told me to do as my first.
What?
But yes,
The one that's like 115 degrees in the summer?
it'll be my
Yes, that
yeah, it'll be my seventh year coming back to this one. It is her, yeah, she's my fault for how I got into these. So look, Misty's is much nicer, guys. It's 55 hours. You get fed. There's party atmosphere. It's not when it's boiling hot outside. Uh,
Yes.
and it's for an awesome good cause. So
It's
yeah.
for a great cause. And I think I've learned over my years running this race how many parallels there are between ultra running and kids fighting cancer. That that takes a mindset and a determination to do both of those things.
Yeah.
And you can't do it alone. Nobody does it alone. But
No.
at the end of the day, also, no one can do it for you. You have to get up out of the chair and start moving your feet forward. Just like these kids, they can have nurses and doctors and researchers and parents and caretakers. But at the end of the day, these kids have to do it. They have to go through this treatment and fight. The difference for me is if I decided one day, I hate this, I'm not doing this anymore, I can walk off the course and live.
Yeah.
The kids who are fighting cancer don't get the option to say, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just gonna pretend this, we'll just start over again tomorrow. They have to keep fighting. And it really did change how I viewed the suffering that I experience when I'm training and when I'm running as a privilege. It is a privilege to do that kind of suffering, to feel that kind of pain, to push myself past my own personal limits, which are not very far, because like I said, I'm not a great gifted runner. But I think about that there are things harder than running a race. There are things in the world that are more serious, more difficult, harder, and the stakes are higher. And it does I'm proud of my running, but running for this cause puts it in a perspective. It's in its right place in the world. And I appreciate that so much. People are like, how do you do this? I'm like, I don't know. I love Megan and I like to eat. I guess that's how it works.
I think that is right there. That is the best way to end this. This has just been an absolute joy. It has been such an education to understand more in depth of what exactly the Snowdrop Ultra is and its purpose. And I absolutely love seeing your joy because your face has just lit up this entire time.
I
And
do. I
I
love
could
it.
just
Who would have thought?
I could just kick myself for not being there and clicking that registration, but you will see me there volunteering.
Okay.
I will be there. I will be one of the crazy people overnight. And look,
Well, you'll see us. We'll be there where you can't miss us.
I can really look, I can dish up some food and I can put some noise behind a cowbell. I have
We
multiple.
appreciate that. That makes a difference. It really does. And we appreciate you. We appreciate your fans who are listening to us talk about this thing that I love and is important to me.
And it just look, go volunteer, guys. Fundraise. If you're already registered, go to the honor team. Make sure next year that you put it on your phone as a reminder. And the challenge is going to set 2 to 3 days. Well,
Yes,
let's get this sold out. We can do
we're
this.
gonna get it sold out.
All right. Thank you so much, Misty, for being here with us again.
Of course. Thank you, Monica.